Aloha and welcome to my channel. I talk about the plasma apocalypse, and one of the huge parts of this theory of the plasma apocalypse, which is the cyclical resetting of our world, is something I haven't really touched on a lot, which is superpowers. I have alluded to superpowers many times. So what I've decided to do, being that it's Halloween month, is not just monsters are a part of Halloween. People dress up like monsters and scary things or fantastic things. People also dress up like superheroes. So because I've talked about getting these superpowers so much and how the world's going to change, and so are we, this is going to be the first one of however many we're going to do about all the different powers that people inherit, or the powers that are activated, which are innate within us right now. We're going to start off with a weird one, stretchiness. I like it. I've been wanting to talk about this one a lot because I feel like it's relevant not just to us, but to the geography of our world and how is it that rocks, can be malleable and squishy and stuff. But let's start with humans. What's up, everybody in the chat? It's good to see so many people here today. So superpowers. How many people in the chat would like superpowers? I put a poll in there. Go ahead and feel free to jump into the poll. It says basically you could choose, there's many superpowers, but it only let me put 4. So far, nobody has picked Stretchy. That's hilarious. Nobody wants the Stretchy superpower. Well, let's talk about it, right? Is it a cool one to have, or is it kind of lame? Is it weird? What's going on? And can these superpowers get out of control? That's another question that we're going to address because it's going to affect everyone differently. Let me start with at the beginning, okay? So especially if you're new to my channel, our world goes through a cyclical reset from time to time. Pressure is building up within our world. We live in a closed system, and being such, it's pressurized, and that pressure increases more and more and more over time until eventually we go through a polarity shift. And during the neutral point of that polarity shift, the electromagnetic dome or barrier wrapped around our world goes away during the neutral point. During that neutral point, when that barrier goes down, the world depressurizes, right? Right now, there's a lot of pressure in here, and the thing that's holding it in is the electromagnetic barrier wrapped around our world. It's also keeping the plasma at bay. There's what's known as the plasma sphere that's wrapped around our world right now. It's keeping that out there in the in quote unquote space or the heavens, right? And that electromagnetic barrier, that shield that protects us from the elements just beyond our world, when it goes down, that plasma will seek to ground itself. It will come into our world and be seen as sky dragons and fireworms and all kinds of interesting things as it's personified by us way down here below. That plasma will swirl on into our world, changing many things. Not just the plasma changes things, but various conditions change. Everything in our world will change. Everything will be affected by the plasma apocalypse event that happens from time to time. So let's talk about how those changes affect us physically. What's going to happen to human beings? Now, what we're about to go into is alluded to in all of the world's religions, in the Bible, in the Quran, in many belief systems. There's references to these things throughout all of our ancient history, our hidden history, our esoteric past. And I dig through those things and I study them to find what is similar, right? Can we find instances of people being stretchy, or people with super strength, or people who are super fast, or people who can fly, or things like that? So we're going to start with the stretchiness. Here's what happens, okay? I'm going to describe it to you in my own words, and then I'm going to share with you some stuff on the screen so that we can get more into the details and the science behind how it could possibly work, right? So the plasma that is wrapped around our world, I believe, is ionized hydrogen. And there is plasma within our world, which I believe so far is mostly ionized oxygen, right? And during this polarity shift, those two elements smash into each other. The plasma, the hydrogen plasma from above, twirls on into our world and hits the ground, and it does lots of interesting things, changing the physical geography of our world, okay? So it pulls mountains up very quickly. It creates valleys, it creates craters on our world, and it terraforms the earth itself. Oh, I don't know why that one's backwards. That one shouldn't be backwards. Well, anyways, So that's what the plasma does. The red plasma, right? It does many different things. That's just one thing that it does. Okay. The plasma within the Earth. Some people, ancient societies have referred to it as Vril or the spirit of the world, etc. But that plasma shoots out and it interacts, combining with the nitrogen in our atmosphere and oxygen and other elements. And what happens is brand new elements are created. Not brand new elements, but brand new chemicals, brand new gases and stuff, like basically fresh air, and many other things are added to our world. Now, when our world is bombarded by this influx of electricity from the sky and from the earth itself, okay, our world becomes rejuvenated in every way, shape, and form, and so do we. It's not just like, the garden grows again and the plants get big and that's it. No. This changes us as well. Now, how it changes each individual is going to depend on a great many factors. Some of us will experience superpowers, or we will change, okay? Or our environment will change so drastically that it's like we have superpowers. We'll talk more about that whenever we go into super strength, okay? But let's focus on how people can become stretchy. First of all, people are already stretchy. Our skin stretches, right? My skin will stretch a bit if I pull it, not as much as the dude in the picture does. But what happens is our stretchiness, right? When you're born, you have baby soft skin, right? Children have stretchy skin. It's tight. It bounces back. But as we start to age and entropy kicks in, right? And our body starts to break down, especially those of us who are not treating our bodies so well, right? Those things that allow us to have stretchy, elastic skin that snaps right back into place, those things start to break down over time, mostly due to what is known as free radicals within the body. And a free radical is something we'll probably look at here in just a bit, but basically your body is breaking down, okay? It's not constantly rejuvenated. During the plasma apocalypse, there is nothing but rejuvenation for a period of time, which is known as the golden age. Everything is rejuvenated. That's why lifespans increase. People don't live to be 80 years, 70 years old or whatever. People live to be hundreds upon hundreds of years old, maybe even more than that. And that's because your skin, everything is being rejuvenated by the electricity that is in the air all around us. Some people call it the ether or whatnot, right? But there will be so much energy that you will literally be energized, right? Now, it could have a positive effect or it can have a negative effect. It depends on what's going on. It depends on how close you are to these things, how much you get of the various amounts of radiation and whatnot. But radiation plays a part of it too, right? There are gamma rays out there. There are other things. And the comic books tap into these truths. Movies like the X-Men and all the Marvel movies and stuff where they have superpowers that are innate within their own body, right? Come from events just like this. So as you can see here, I put up many different examples, real world examples of people who already have this ability on a small scale, on just a tiny little scale, right? People are, and you'll see this right here where they actually do that with their face. They do that a lot because there are people in this world right now that have extremely stretchy skin and they're able to like pull it very far, or some people have extremely long fingers, you'll notice, right? All right. So, man, what's up to everybody? Hey, antioxidants, Mars Pop, you're on top of it, man. So we're actually going to talk about the antioxidant factor as well. That's huge. The antioxidants keep those free radicals from forming in your body. So that's why they say to eat things that your body will break apart and then turn into antioxidants to keep away those free radicals, or to fix the free radicals, really is what's happening, right? The free radicals are being adjusted. They're being fixed. That's what happens during this cycle that we're about to go through. The world is going to be fixed. Right? Now, it fixed is all in the eyes of the beholder for us down here living on the surface, okay? Some things might be fixed, but to you, it's not preferred. So it doesn't seem fixed, right? Some of these superpowers might seem amazing, but for example, I took a poll. Let's see where we are on the poll. Stretchy. Oh, somebody actually voted for Stretchy. 4% voted for Stretchy. 37 voted for invisibility. 22% voted for super strength. And 39, wow, first place, telepathy. We're definitely going to talk about telepathy in another episode. Yeah, so not a lot of people are into the Stretchy factor. However, if I tell you the benefits of it, you might be way more interested, especially those of you who are old and aging and you've got wrinkles developing and your hair's turning white and you know what I mean? Like the body's breaking down. This is why we die. Trust me, having strong, elastic skin is going to be something that you might enjoy. But anyways, for example, this guy right here, this is a shot from the X-Men. And this is from RoboCop, but these people are shown in the movies as having too much of this, right? What is it that makes us stretchy? What is it that's going to change in our bodies when the plasma apocalypse happens, right? Let's go ahead and do some screen sharing and I'll show you. Boom. All right, cool. So this right here says, let's learn some stuff about our bodies first. What gives your skin elasticity? It says here, collagen and elastin are responsible for making the skin firm and supple. As you age, your skin begins to lose its natural plumpness because of a decrease in the production of collagen and elastin, two major structural proteins that give firmness and elasticity to your skin. So these two things, collagen and elastin, right? They're similar to one another, but they have two different purposes, right? You can have a lot of collagen but not be stretchy, but you have really good skin. If you have more elastin in your skin will be that much more stretchier, right? So the question is, how would it be, hypothetically speaking, if conditions were to change in our world? What would need to happen? What would we need to be subject to in order for our bodies to reverse the aging process, creating more collagen, and to increase the amount of elastin? Ultimately, you would want both of these to be boosted if you're going to be the stretchy superhero, right? You wouldn't want just the elastin because then you might end up like those guys who I showed you whose faces are kind of like melting and stuff, right? It's not that they're melting. It's not that the fires are that the plasma comes down. Don't get me wrong. The plasma can melt stuff. The plasma will set things on fire, but mostly we're addressing the electricity that is in the air and how that electricity affects the electrons that are naturally occurring in our skin, in our body, in our eyes, and everywhere, right? Some elements, whenever exposed to large amounts of electricity, an exchange will start happening. Some will take some of that electricity or those electrons and they'll say, wow, I needed that, thank you. And they'll pull from the electricity that's in the air around us. Some will say, oh, wow, I'm going to use that. And now that enables me to connect to other things, right? So this is how bonds are created within everything, really. There's different types of chemical bonds that are created, and electricity can stimulate those chemical bonds. Can you rebuild elastin? Elastin is the substance that makes our skin stretchy. Not just the skin either, right? It's the stuff that connects your bones together, right? So if you had a whole bunch of elastin, hypothetically speaking, in your body, right? It's not just your skin would stretch, but you would literally be able to extend your arm out, and right where your joint is, I don't know all the technical terms, but right where that joint is, where all that elastin's built up, your bones would be able to separate and stretch out as well. Not the actual bone, like the cartilage and stuff, but that's also a possibility. But anyways, it says collagen and elastin can be restored with stimulating lasers. Check that out. That's basically what's coming down from the heavens above, is heavenly lasers, heavenly plasma, heavenly light, which either heat radio frequency or break down fractionated resurfacing the collagen and the elastin in the skin, which promotes the cells to rebuild new collagen and elastin. So let me paraphrase this in JayDreamerZ terms. One thing that can increase the production of collagen and elastin in your body is stimulating your body with electricity, light lasers. Okay, we're going to talk about light. Light plays a huge part of this too, right? Which either heats it through radio frequencies, which basically means that there is radiation going through your body and it will affect everything inside of your body, including your DNA, right? Your DNA is made out of collagen, I believe, and has elastin too. I could be off on that, right? So don't take me as super professional when it comes to skin therapy and stuff like that, right? These are things that I'm studying too. So that's why your DNA is able to bend and open up and move and be cut off and separate, and that's what helps it to do that stuff. And then so that's radio frequencies that pass through our body. Those gamma rays and stuff that come down from above, they pass right through, and their job is to perfect things. Their job is to resequence all the dirty trash and the messed up garbage, including us. Okay, we're poisoned. Okay, this world is very poisonous right now. There's always anomalies and exceptions, but the purpose of this reset is to clean house. It's to reset and put everything in its place, basically, where it should be. And then the other way is to break down the collagen and the elastin that's existing already. So what it does is it goes in and it destroys the old ones, which the body kicks in and goes, oh, we need more. So it builds brand new collagen and brand new elastin. Now this says, what does elastin do to the skin? I'm going to scooch over a little bit here. Elastin, you can read it. Elastin is what allows the skin to stretch and then regain its original shape, right? So if you stretched it, but it just stayed stretchy, that wouldn't be too great, right? You wouldn't want it to you want it to snap back into place. That's what makes it an awesome superpower to have. You wouldn't want to just, be melty looking all the time. It functions. Now that's what happens when you get old too. That's why people get wrinkles and stuff. That elastin is not snapping back into place. Trust me, we're going to do a huge video coming up on the fountain of youth. All of this ties into youth being restored to you if you're one of the elders in this world, the elder children. You'll become a child again, believe me. Anyways, elastin is what allows skin to stretch and then regain its original shape. It functions in unison together with the collagen, as they are both found in the connective tissue and perform similar functions. Elastin is usually 1,000 times more flexible than collagen. So we're really focusing on the elastin here because that's where we get the word elastic from, right? So things like silk and stretchy objects and rubber and stuff like that, right? They have elastin. All right, so check this out. As I've talked about during the plasma apocalypse, the sky turns red. We will no longer have a blue sky. Everything will be tinted a red spectrum, a red color, because the sky itself will be red and will be bright red. Now it's a red spectrum, right? So it doesn't have to be completely red. It could be variables of red. It could be more of an amber orangey glow. It could be, more of a purplish color. It all depends. There's various factors, but in general, I just say it's a red sky. Now, red light therapy. Check this out. Red light therapy. This is what you're going to get. Okay. You're going to live forever until the next apocalypse under a giant red light. So let's see what happens when we live under a giant red light. Red light therapy and other types of light therapy may increase collagen growth and improve wrinkles and skin elasticity. So just being under a red light, right? There's many people that are doing scientific studies on this. They're having people try this out time and time again, and they're coming up with similar answers that this is very beneficial to your body. Red light therapy and other types of light therapy may increase collagen growth and improve wrinkles and skin elasticity. That means it gets rid of wrinkles and even scars and all kinds of stuff. They tend to diminish. The body heals itself. It regenerates, which is the word I was looking for so much the other day. Regeneration is a real concept. It's not just for Doctor Who, it's for you. The authors of, I like when I rhyme like that. The authors of a 2013 research article conclude that red light therapy may be a quick and safe way to increase collagen in the skin, right? So your skin, it's reversing the aging process, basically. It's not really aging, you know what I mean? Just because something exists for a period of time doesn't mean it must break down and it must become decrepit. We live under those conditions right now. We live in an entropic or an entropy environment. But everything must be balanced out. If we live in an environment of entropy, that will flip after the reset and we will live in a regenerative environment. All right, so in 2021, other researchers looked at the effect of red light combined with near-infrared light on skin cells in a laboratory. They found that it stimulated the production of collagen and elastin. This could help to prevent wrinkles and other skin changes commonly associated with older age. Many dermatologists offer light therapy, but equipment is also available for home use. It's the best to ask a specialist for advice before, okay, blah, 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 blah. I don't really care about that last part. I don't care about specialists and stuff. Anyways, so check this out. These articles that I'm researching, these are all sharing with you their findings on a small scale. I'm talking about applying this worldwide. Okay, that's the exciting part about it. You don't need little tiny lasers that are pricking you here and there. I'm talking about the entire world will give you what you need. And there's nothing you need to do except survive. That's all. All right, RLT, red light therapy, is a straightforward procedure involving exposing the body to low wavelength red light. Low-level laser light therapy is another name for the process, although RLT might be more common. The red light is natural and can penetrate deep into the skin, where the cells can absorb and use it. As a study in the journal Seminars in Cutaneous Medicine and Surgery notes, mitochondria in the skin cells can absorb these light particles. This can help the cells produce more adenosine triphosphate, which is the energy source for all cells. So it's, okay, let me explain that in Jayman's terms, okay? That means that the light will be absorbed by your body, just like how you eat to get energy, right? You put the food, the physical stuff in the face, and then you mush it up with the rocks in your mouth, and then you swallow it, and then it drops into a vat of acid, and then it tries to work out where the energy is, and then the stuff that's not helpful, it leaves. Doesn't that sound weird? That's not the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it is now because we have adapted and we've changed over time. That's not the way it originally is. In an environment, inside and within an environment that is purely energetically charged, so are you. You don't need sleep. You don't need food. You don't need all these weird, strange things that we do today to just try to make it through the day. You don't need 5-hour energies and Red Bulls and Mountain Dew and stuff like that. You are energized because the world is energized. It goes on to say, basically this means that you absorb the light, and just like a plant in photosynthesis, it says it helps cells produce more of this chemical, which is the energy source for all cells. You're energized yourself. You're just naturally energized. Oh man, there's only 2% voting for Stretchy. What is it about Stretchy that people don't like? I mean, it makes you look different, I guess. You know, that's a big one. All right. Many experts attribute the potential positive benefits of red light therapy to this function. With this extra energy, the cells may be able to respond better to damage and rejuvenate themselves. What does that mean? That means if your finger's cut off, your finger grows back. That means that if basically like Wolverine, right? Super healing factors, right? Your body will heal itself. You regenerate quickly, which gets into the time of no death that I've talked about and referenced many times that the Bible and the Quran both also make allusions to. Now I'm going to read this part right here. It gets a little technical, but bear with me. Low-level laser light therapy is a fast-growing technology used to treat a multitude of conditions that require stimulation of healing, relief of pain and inflammation, and restoration of function. What does restoration of function mean? That means that for many of you out there who are handicapped, many of you who have, various physical problems with your body and parts of your body are no longer able to work, after the plasma apocalypse, boom, it's miraculous. You are healed. Your body is able to work again because it restores function to the body. This is what this article is basically saying in essence, right? Although the skin is the organ that is naturally exposed to light more than any other organ, it still responds well to red and near-infrared wavelengths. The photons are absorbed by mitochondrial chromophores in skin cells. So the light is absorbed by your skin. Consequently, electron transport, adenosine triphosphate, mitochondrial chromophores in skin cells. I'm sorry, I messed that up. Let's go backwards. Consequently, electron transport, adenosine triphosphate, nitric oxide release, blood flow, keep that nitric oxide in mind too, right? Blood flow, reactive oxygen species increase and diverse signaling pathways get activated. So all of this stuff in your body that was not activated before, junk DNA and whatnot, is all of a sudden turned on like the flip of a switch, a light switch, quite literally and actually. Hamed, welcome. Let's see. Stem cells can be activated, allowing increased tissue repair and healing. In dermatology, low-level light therapy has beneficial effects on wrinkles, acne scars, hypertrophic scars, and the healing of burns. LLLT can reduce UV damage both as a treatment and as a prophylaxis. In pigmentary disorders such as vitiligo, LLLT can increase pigmentation by stimulating melanocyte proliferation and reduce depigmentation by inhibiting autoimmunity. Inflammatory diseases such as psoriasis and acne can also benefit from this. The non-invasive nature and almost complete absence of side effects encourages further testing in dermatology. Boom. Man, let's read some more. All right. It goes on to say LLLT, low-level light therapy, phototherapy, or photobiomodulation refers to the use of photons, which is a fancy word for light, at a non-thermal irradiance to alter biological activity. That's really important. So I want to reword that one. Okay. So photons, that's light. Okay. Heavenly light. Imagine the light from above. Okay. Or the light from below, the earthly light, right? The spirit of the world. Photons. Non-thermal irradiance. Let me explain what that means. That means radiation, essentially. Okay, there's all kinds of radiation. Just because there's radiation doesn't mean that you're going to melt and turn into, some strange-looking creature. But you might. Okay, so don't get me wrong. I'm not promising everyone gets an amazing superpower or anything. This is Christmas, and you're going to get a surprise. Okay, there are things you can do that to lean towards one superpower or another. Hey, Hamad, thank you. It says, Salam, Jay, you spoke the truth. The sky will turn red. This was written in the Quran 1400 years ago. I absolutely agree with you. I want to talk more about the Quran in the future, especially Muhammad and some of his prophecies and the moon splitting and stuff. Oh, man. All right, but let's get back to this. And thank you for your donation. All right, it says non-thermal irradiance. So radiation, basically the sky opens up. And right now, that sky is keeping the radiation out. Our world will become irradiated, okay? That doesn't mean that everybody dies from radiation or anything like that, but it will change many things rather quickly. And then those things that were changed will pass on those traits to their children and to their children's children. And then you have selective, adaptation and selective breeding and stuff like that, right? Nature just kind of breeds out all of the imperfections. And then we keep those mutations that are beneficial to us, basically. All right. So it goes on to say, it alters biological activity. That's a nice way of saying it changes your body. Okay. LLLT uses either coherent light sources, lasers, or non-coherent light sources consisting of filtered lamps or light-emitting diodes, or on occasion, a combination of both. The main medical applications of LLLT are reducing pain and inflammation. So right now, pain is a huge part of our world, okay? But I see a future where pain is a strange concept, right? Pain will still exist, but not as much as we have today. Now, for all you women out there who did not vote for Stretchy as your superpower, okay? Keep in mind that that is something that will help you in childbirth so that you don't feel that pain, okay? Right now, you're not that stretchy. So a lot of people are being cut open and babies are being pulled out and stuff, and it's very painful, right? People are getting shots, huge shots in their spine and stuff just so they don't have to experience that pain. That pain, there's religious writings that indicate that pain was introduced into our world at a certain point in time, which made things like childbirth very difficult for women to go through. You won't experience that pain in childbirth. Whenever your skin has more elastin and more of the things that we've been talking about, taking your pain away and making your skin stretchier, it'll be easier to produce children. All right, continuing on. There are many benefits to this. The main medical applications are reducing pain and inflammation, augmenting tissue repair, that's regeneration, right? Just like lizards, if they lose their tail, they grow a new tail, right? And promoting regeneration of different tissues and nerves, right? Preventing tissue damage in situations where it is likely to occur. So this helps to prevent damage too. In the last few decades, ablative laser therapies have been used increasingly for the aesthetic treatment of fine wrinkles, photo-aged skin, and scars, a process known as photorejuvenation. That means life from light, photorejuvenation. The light itself rejuvenates your skin, rejuvenates your body, fills you and amplifies your spirit, man, so that you're alive, so that you have energy. You know what I mean? You don't need a 5-hour energy. You don't need a Red Bull. Like, we're sleepy in this world. We're tired in this world. We're confused in this world. We don't work right in this world, and we just accept it as normal. It's not. It's normal now. It's the norm now. But it wasn't always that way, and it won't always be that way. That's the good news. More recently, this approach has been used for inflammatory acne. LLT involves exposing cells or tissue to low levels of red and near-infrared light. This process is referred to as low level because the energy or power densities employed are low compared to other forms of laser therapy such as ablation, cutting, and thermally coagulating tissue. So basically they're saying that this is way better than all of the old school ways they've been trying to do this. Recently, medical treatment with LLT at various intensities has been found to stimulate or inhibit an assortment of cellular processes. This is important for us, individually and collectively, to study, to look into this, to see how it stimulates so that we can be stimulated in all the right places, or how it inhibits so that we can be sure that we're only inhibiting those things that we are, that we don't want. Conclusion: low-level red plus near-infrared lights combination. That sounded weird. Let me say that again. Low-level red plus near-infrared lights combination stimulated the production of collagen and elastin. So this is a study that they've done, and they've already found this to be true. Hamad, hey, welcome. Good to see you. Welcome to the Good Vibe Tribe. So it stimulates the production of collagen and elastin, production associated with anti-aging benefits. It's anti-aging, period. I mean, you might get older, right? I mean, you were born at this time and you live for a certain amount of time. That's not supposed to guarantee that you physically look old. You know what I mean? That you become decrepit, that the body breaks down. That's not right. Not in my book. Not where I come from. No. These findings suggest that low-level red plus near-infrared light combination may provide an effective treatment opportunity for people with photo-aged skin. That means your skin is breaking down. That means you are literally falling apart. All of us are, okay? Which is why... But the thing is, we're used to it, right? We're used to only living 70, 80, 90, if you're lucky, you know what I mean? 100 is like you're on the newspapers and stuff. That's not right. That's not something you should be rooting for, you know what I mean? You should be rooting for immortality. You should be rooting for, and maybe not immortality, but living for hundreds of years. I'm not ready. Me personally, and this is for many of you, because I feel like many of you out there probably are like-minded, right? Some might not be. Some of you are okay with the conditions that we live in today. There is a train going past. I'm super sorry. This article says chemists change the bonds between atoms in a single molecule for the first time. We are starting to tap into these abilities to learn how this works so that we can do it. Now, if we do it, and we can learn how to do all this stuff, okay? And once we learn how to do all this stuff, it's only going to increase exponentially. Okay, so things are going to get weirder before they get normal again, trust me. But basically, these are the building blocks to life. And scientists, whoever they are, chemists, somebody out there, is working with putting those building blocks together and moving them. It says that chemists have changed the bonds between atoms. The bonds. So we're talking about one atom here, what connects it? This is what our body's made out of, right? How are we connected? If we have loose bonds, then we become more stretchy, more malleable. If we have strong bonds, you could become petrified and you could become like rock. You know what I mean? Learning how these bonds work, whether it be electrical bonds or chemical bonds, is an important process to understanding some of the myths and the legends that have been passed along to us from our ancient history. And this is just this year that they've starting to probe into these types of things. So here's an example of some of the chemical bonds that they have changed. And it says a schematic of the tip-induced reactions by voltage pulses. You know how they're doing this? You know how they're changing bonds, chemical bonds, right? Electricity. Like, it's pretty simple. They're tweaking with the electrical factor inside of these bonds. This says the work by the team involved placing a sample material into a scanning tunneling microscope and then using a very tiny amount of electricity to break specific bonds. More specifically, they began by pulling 4 chlorine comes up a lot in my studies too, 4 chlorine atoms from the core of a tetracyclic to use as their starting molecule. If some of this goes over your head, it's totally okay. They then moved to the tip of the STM to a C-Ci bond and then broke the bond with a jolt of electricity. What does that mean? That means electricity has the potential to break apart strong bonds, right? To change those bonds. If they're broken, they can be changed. They can be manipulated. They can bond to other things now. They are free to bond differently. This is how things change so quickly in our world. This is one of the ways that things can change instead of having the mainstream academic scientific mindset of, well, it takes millions of years for this to happen. We can now look at it scientifically and say it is possible for this to happen instantaneously. It's possible for this to happen very quickly, not millions of years. Doing so to the other Ci and Cc pairs, these are carbon bond, resulted in the formation of a diradical, which left 6 electrons free for use in forming other bonds, just like I just said. In one test of creating a new molecule, the team then used the free electrons and a dose of high voltage to form diagonal carbon-carbon bonds, resulting in the creation of a bent alkaline. In another example, they applied the dose of low voltage to create a cyclobutadiene ring. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. But anyways, the point of all of this in layman's terms is that they can use electricity, right, to change the bonds, the chemical bonds that keep us connected, that keep all of our little parts connected, right? We can manipulate, not just we, nature can manipulate, right? When all that electricity comes in and all that ionization comes in from the sky, drops down into the ground, and our world is being pumped full of energy from Mother Earth herself, right? That's all going to affect your skin. It's going to affect your bones. It's going to affect your brain. It's going to affect your mind, your teeth. Shoot, I have a theory that, you know how we grow wisdom teeth, or some of us, right? When you become adults, that's supposed to happen to all your teeth. You're supposed to grow a whole nother set of teeth, right? I mean, think about it. If you live to be 1,000 years old, you're going to need more than just that pair of teeth that you got, probably, right? I mean, this has a lot of implications on many of the legends of times past. It says here, hydrogen bonds. This is a huge one, okay? Hydrogen is one of the, probably the most abundant element, I believe, that we know of in our world, in our realm, and in quote unquote space, right? Hydrogen, I believe, is what is ionized just outside of our world. That accounts for what we call the Van Allen radiation belt and stuff, right? H bonds, or hydrogen bonds, give water its room temperature liquid properties, lower or raise energy barriers, and thus speed or slow reactions, and hold together three-dimensional shapes of DNA, proteins, and synthetic materials such as some types of polymers. What is a polymer? So actually, let's back off a little bit. Hydrogen bonds, right? If we have an influx of hydrogen all over the place, then that hydrogen is going to be looking for little homes. It's going to be looking for where it can help out. Where does anyone need me? You know what I mean? Hydrogen will be introduced into this world like a new guy who's waiting to be picked up in a basketball game. And we'll be like, oh, we need you over here. Oh, we need you over here. And the hydrogen's going to help out. It's going to plug itself in wherever it can find a place to plug itself in. And hydrogen bonds help to create synthetic materials such as some types of polymers. Polymers typically are, not all of them, but many types of polymers are those stretchy materials that we benefit from so often, like rubber bands and stuff like that, right? Now, what can break chemical bonds? Decomposition requires energy because the chemical bonds are initially stable and energy is required to break them apart. So if we have an introduction into our world, an influx of high amounts of energy, that has the potential to break apart many of the bonds that make the world the normal place that we're used to living in. The molecule in the bond have a lower energy level than the free molecules. Adding energy allows them to break free, right? So this can change things that you thought were permanent, basically. This can change different things in our world that you thought were inanimate, rock hard, crystalline, unchangeable. This has the ability to reverse engineer them, basically. Are collagen and elastin the same? No, they're not. What's the difference between collagen and elastin? Although the two proteins are closely associated and work together, they have two totally opposing jobs. Collagen provides rigidity and strength. So collagen is what makes your skin strong. Now, imagine this. Imagine that we live in an environment where your collagen production is amplified and increased to the point where your skin, first of all, you're already all dense. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a good way, because of the pressure that is in our world, it makes everything more dense. When that means your body is dense, okay? When the pressure is relieved, your body will still be dense. And especially in comparison to everyone that is born into those and under those new conditions in our world with less atmospheric pressure and an increased buoyancy factor. What does that mean? In layman's terms, that means, or JayDreamerZ terms, I'm going to start saying JayDreamerZ terms. In JayDreamerZ terms, that means that your collagen could go into overdrive. You could produce very strong skin in addition to having a dense body, and you become similar to Superman, right? Where people try to, shoot you with a bullet or an arrow. I don't know. I haven't tested it out, so you know what I mean? We're we're speculating in the brain right now, right? But that means that all of those less dense things, like let's say that you have somebody who, like me, let's say I survived the apocalypse. My body is dense. My muscles are dense. I've been living in this environment my entire life. All of a sudden, the world depressurizes. Babies are born into that world. They grow up into adults, but they're weak in comparison to me, right? If they come up to me and try to hit me, they'll probably hurt their hand because I will have tough and strong skin. Now, the elasticity portion depends upon the elastin in the body, right? That if they hit me and I have a lot of elastin, it's likely they might, actually move the skin or even push through me or something, but it's not going to hurt that much. Anyways, collagen provides rigidity and strength, whereas elastin allows the skin to be flexible and bounce back to its original shape. right? So if you have an overamplification of collagen and elastin, right, you're going to have tough skin. It's going to be able to stretch and not break, not snap. You know what I mean? If you have less collagen and more elastin, you're likely to stretch very far, but you might snap. You know what I mean? Your stretchiness isn't very strong, basically. This goes on to say, collagen provides most of the tensile strength of the tissue in the hand. Collagen fibers themselves are inelastic, but movement between collagen fibers imparts elasticity to the tissue. So the more collagen you have and you're moving, you're able to bend a bit, right? All right, let's see what else it says here. Normal hand motion occurs when these strong, dense connective tissues structures glide relative to one another, basically. Now, are electrons antioxidants? Let's talk about that. And in our poll, we've got 5% for Stretchy, 31% for invisibility, 30% for super strength, and 35% telepathy is still in the lead. How fun. How fun. Are electrons antioxidants? Somebody in the chat had mentioned antioxidants. We're going to talk about that right now. It is proposed that free or mobile electrons from the Earth can resolve chronic inflammation by serving as natural antioxidants. What does that mean? That means that the electricity from the Earth itself, right, has the ability to provide you with what you need to get rid of those free radicals in your body. Okay, I actually said that more complicated, so let me make it more simple. Earth electricity, Earth spirit, Earth power, okay, that comes up from the ground, right, from natural cathodes on the Earth, right, that comes up out of the Earth, that energy is able to fix the free radicals in your skin. It's able to reverse your aging process. It's able to keep you from breaking down and getting old and decrepit, and you know what I mean? No offense to old and decrepit people. I don't want to be old and decrepit one day either. That's why I'm talking about this. And it happens to everybody these days. So now, how can I increase my elastin? Before the plasma apocalypse, they offer things like this. We have to eat. We have to put things in our body and digest it, etc. Eating foods like greens, fatty fish, citric fruits, broccoli, almonds, and walnuts. I actually have been drinking almond milk for like 6 years now. I have not drank cow milk. You know why? Because I'm not a cow. That's mostly why. Anyways, and walnuts can replenish elastin in your skin. Eating these things right here can replenish the elastin in your skin. These foods are known to work from within to improve your skin's health. Now, that's what you eat. You put inside of you, and it has to break it down and distribute it throughout the body. That's from within. From without is the light therapy that we were just talking about. Don't forget antioxidant foods like green tea and berries as well, right? These antioxidants keep your body from rusting, basically. Like, not really rust, but you know what I'm saying. Now, can elastin be restored? Collagen and elastin can be restored with stimulating lasers, light, right? Red light, which either heat, radio frequency, or break down. I think I already read that one, actually. Yeah. So anyways, let me go back to the fun pictures. I don't like the words as much as I do the pictures. All right, so let's take a look at some of these examples. I'm also going to jump back into the chat here as well. We got Blessings Flow, who says, "Good job, JayDreamerZ. May blessings flow on you and all your tribe." Thank you. I accept and I receive that. All right, so for example, I'm going to comment on some of these, right? These guys are examples of what happens whenever you have too much of the elastin, okay? That's why they show people melting and stuff like that. This is from Indiana Jones, one of the famous scenes where they open up the Ark of the Covenant, which is the covering, the arch of our world, okay? That's the whole movie is about our world and what happens during the apocalypse when the Ark or the arch or the dome or the sky opens. Okay, this guy right here, this is what he really looks like. He's a famous actor. He plays in a lot of horror movies because of his body. People that have certain conditions, they have like really extremely long arms. I mean, their arms go way down, like when they're standing up, some of them, right? So they have super long arms. This is him pulling his neck skin up over his mouth, and it's not like it's snapping or anything. So he has, very elastic. This is Plastic Man, or I don't know the names of all the superheroes or whatever. This is Mr. Fantastic, right? You can see the very super long fingers, right? As he does in the movies. Many people in this world still have like a bodily memory of a time that once was. And so every once in a while, they're called mutants, basically. Most everybody in the world is a mutant, okay? Many of you are already mutants, you just don't realize it. There are various mutations happening in your body all of the time, right? The plasma apocalypse amplifies those mutations and introduces some brand new ones. One of those is the ability to stretch, to have stretchier skin. Does that mean that your torso is going to like pull apart like this chick right here or something? No, this is a cartoonification of an ancient truth, of a future truth, if you will. This is an interesting cartoon because in this one, all the superheroes get the stretching ability, right? But as you can see, they often portray these people as being very tall. This is Dhalsim from Street Fighter 2. I like him. But not only are they just able to stretch, but they're able to have, they have very long limbs, like Slender Man. You know what I mean? Very long limbs. And that's why we associate these things with stuff that's scary or the apocalypse or horror, right? Every single horror movie is about this event that happens to our world and the things that are introduced into our world that are brand new, that we're not used to. There are many basketball players that you can see that they have extremely long limbs. Some people have hands. You ever see that movie Big Fish? Right? Big Fish, where they have that giant dude. If you see that dude's fingers, like his fingers are, look at that. Look at that. That's like twice as long as my fingers. You know what I mean? This one says the incredible melting man. I'm going to pause it right here. Hold up. I'm going to go back and I want to read that one, but I want to make it so you can read it too. Why didn't that work? Oh, it's locked. Hold on. Sorry. My bad. One sec. Slideshow, boom, and we'll unlock it and I'll make it so that we can all read it. All right, cool. It says The Incredible Melting Man. The Incredible Melting Man is a 1977 American science fiction horror film directed and written by William Sachs. The plot concerns an astronaut whose body begins to melt after he is exposed to radiation during a space flight to Saturn, driving him to commit murders and consume human flesh in order to survive. This would be a fantastic example, right? If we can take something that's fantastic and apply it to real world situations, right? Practical applications of this, of fantasy, right? This guy, whoever this guy was in the movie, was very close to this energetic source. So he was bombarded by this stuff, right? One, you'll notice that in a lot of movies, especially superhero movies and stuff, right? So one, they're very close to this source. That's why the Bible and Quran and some other holy books, they talk about, during these times of days of judgment and whatnot, stay inside your house, right? Hide from all of these. Don't look at God. Don't look at the Lord. Don't, you know what I mean? Like these are all symbolic elements that are passed along to us from various people's perspectives across time, right? But they all share generalized truths, right? Don't go out in all of the electromagnetic radiation during the apocalypse and stare at the pretty lights. Not a good idea, right? Anyways, so this guy does it in the movie, basically. He gets bombarded with this stuff and his skin starts basically what appears to be melting, right? It's not from heat though, it's from radiation. And then it says driving him to commit murders. That is plasma possession, okay? That's an over amplification of a weak spirit, basically, or an evil spirit, you could say, a selfish spirit, right? Plasma possession it amplifies the existing energy that is already latent within us. So if you have bad energy, that's going to be amplified. You're going to turn into a super bad guy, not a superhero. Okay, you might think you're a superhero, but to many others, you're a super bad guy because you'll be out trying to kill people and stuff like that. So it drives him to commit murders and to consume human flesh to survive. that might have something to do with the anatomy that just caused him to change. He needs to consume human flesh, which is protein basically, in order to keep his skin from melting. He needs that protein in his body to keep it together. I don't know. I'm not super scientific in that aspect, but I could see how that would be possible. This guy, same thing. He might as well be the Incredible Melting Man. This is from X-Men. This is like some senator or something like that got injected with the X gene or whatever. He's got the X gene inside of him. He becomes stretchy, but too stretchy, right? He becomes stretchy to the point where he starts to melt and look like this dude from RoboCop, right? Who actually got hit by a car and exploded right after that scene. This is a scene from Indiana Jones, right? Where this is Indiana Jones and the Ark. The Ark of the Covenant or whatever. So they open up the Ark of the Covenant. You're not supposed to look. If you watch this scene, Indiana Jones and his girlfriend Marion, they're tied to a pole, okay, which represents the world tree and the tree of life and the fountain of youth, etc. And he says, don't look. Don't look at whatever comes out of that ark. Out of Pandora's box, don't watch. Don't check it out. Don't get me wrong. Some people might be able to, okay? Some people might have protection that works. But most people will not, and they're not going to understand how to keep themselves safe or anything like that. Just don't look at it, okay? And stay away from it, essentially, until the world comes to a place where it calms down and things can be normal again. Otherwise, many people, right, they start becoming droopy, right? Just like when people have a stroke, right? You could see that their skin starts to like sag and stuff like that. Same thing can happen instantaneously. This is just showing you an idea of what the elastic stuff in our skin does, right? They've got synthetic versions of that too, where we can actually create that. But look, this thing can stretch up to 5 times and it still remains strong. It doesn't snap or anything like that. Anyways, that takes us back to our original. I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of superhero stuff. So we're going to talk about more superpowers coming up. I want to thank everybody that participated in the poll. I think it's interesting to see so many people don't want the stretchy superpower. If you plan on having kids, you're gonna love it. Trust me. Like, you don't want the pain of childbirth. All right, cool. Well, that's about it for me. Let me just take a couple of comments in the chat real quick. Ziosardu, Cat says open mind and good vibes. Right on. Mars Pop says Jay always has the best topics. Hey, thanks. Appreciate you. All right, cool. Well, I'm going to leave you all to the rest of your weekend. Thanks for joining me on this special weekend edition, and hit the bell if you want to get notified of my live streams, because I'm going to be doing way more live streams next week about this exact same topic, right? And then that's going to take us to our Halloween special. Right on. Thanks for joining me this weekend. Until next time, I'm JayDreamerZ saying good vibes and goodbye.